based on their criteria of what the ideal jazz club setting would be. What's the best jazz club each of you have performed in?
His question, for those of you who may not have heard, based on all the jazz clubs we've all played in, what is the best one you've played in? I mean, we could only name one of the best, because that would be probably too hard. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like to say wherever I'm playing. It's always the best. That's the attitude I have. Really, no, I mean, but I generally prefer old dives. Walls that have had a lot of music bouncing off of them, and a lot of people have been there. There's a lot of ghosts in them. Things like the Blue Wisp in Cincinnati, and the old Blue Wisp, which has actually now been re-increased. It's gone. That's, never mind. Village Vanguard. Rooms that just have had a lot of history and always seem to feel better. There's a lot of old cowboy bars that I play in that just, you wouldn't believe how good they sound, and we play jazz in them, but how good they sound and how good they feel. You're really close to people. But really, for me, wherever I'm playing, that's my favorite place to play.
Excellent answer. Early on in my jazz life, I got asked to play at Ronnie Scott's Club in London. And so that became a regular thing for me, every year. And it was huge for me because it was an old, smelly club, really smelly. And I loved it. I mean, and the vibes there were so good because, it had been there for 40 years and everybody played there and their photos are all over the place, and it was great. People from all over Europe were coming, real jazz fans, so I enjoyed that a lot.
Another perfect segue. I played my very first time at Ronnie Scott's with Betty Carter back in '81, and 2 weeks in that smelly dive. But again, nothing more to add. It's really what Bruce said and what Jackie said. It's very true. The small clubs that have a lot of history are the ones that generally are the best.
And another segue into that, Mike and I in San Diego, my wonderful husband, Mike Wofford, we just started playing the first time at home in a downtown joint called Croce's, which is owned by Ingrid Croce, Jim Croce's widow. And the musicians were going, Holly and Mike, why are you playing at Croce's? It's loud and and people are not always listening. And what are you doing? We play every other Tuesday because that's mostly when we're home. And we got a lot of flack for it, and we're loving it so much because it's not a concert. Nobody has to pay to get in. And one of the really wonderful things about it is that it's a dive, but the people come in off the street and they stick their head in the door because they hear our quartet and they're going, oh. So then they wander in, they sit down and they stay all night. People who are on the street as tourists in San Diego who discover this club, and the other musicians in town have great disdain for it because it's not great pay, and we're not doing it for the pay. We're doing it for a place to play that's not a concert, and so you can find jazz in, as Bruce said, cowboy bars. Bruce is our resident cowbop. I would say he's our crossover artist on the festival between country and jazz. You didn't know that there was a category called cowbop, did you? Yeah, he invented it, and if you look at what he's wearing,
I'm too hick for the room. To what you're saying about the attitude of the musicians, who won't play in Croce's or wherever, and believe me, I play a lot of places like this. I just got to say, I don't know, something happened in I know who even did it, but I'm not going to mention his name. Where did it happen? We became artists to the level where people are supposed to get up and just watch us do our thing, and that's what it's about. Music, we're musicians, and we play music for people. And I don't know why entertaining is, and playing things that people want to hear and want to be a part of, and are inclusive of anybody who's, whatever their aesthetic is, and us being open to them, and them being open to us. I don't know where that became somehow uncool in the world of a lot of jazz players' minds. Like, we're supposed to sit there like it's a museum or something.
And not speak.
And yeah, museum.
No,
And just, oh yeah, you're great. Well, I'll watch you practice for 2 hours, and that's going to be a great Friday night for me. It's like, I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't subscribe to that, and I know this will probably get my New York card taken away. But don't tell anybody, Louis, okay? But I look a little shades. Well, and so now, anyways. But anyways, I just think that it's time, play great music, believe in what you're doing, have a good time, be part of the moment, and let it go from there.
Yeah, I want to say something too, yeah. Some of my favorite gigs are like that, and it's cool. I don't care. I mean, really, in some of these clubs, people are talking. I don't really care. I'm having a good time with the musicians I'm playing with. I don't, some people say, oh, doesn't it bother you? I mean, if it's so loud that I can't hear myself, that's one thing. But really, I think they're having a good time back there sometimes, and that's okay. These people are listening. It's cool. It's just about having a good time. Like the party last night you guys did. It's like, wow, it's a party. You're having a good time. And that's what the music's about.
I think young people don't get an opportunity these days as much as maybe we did to play where at parties or where they're not the center of attention all the time, and have a chance to play dances especially. I'm always telling young people, I'm asking them, do you dance? I don't care what style. Do you move your body in some kind of way to music? Because if you don't, you're missing out on an essential part of where the music came from. Yeah. To me, I think so.
Yeah, and for the singers that in the clinics, I'd like to tell you, move your body. It's like everybody's standing very stiff, and I say, come on, move.
And, Houston person, I'm sure he's warming up for his gig. He's probably just rolling out of the hotel room. Anyway, Houston always requests one thing wherever I book him. He wants to play a dance. And Houston comes from a school of thought that artists that play for dancing, it's a special event for the audience and it's a special event for the artist. And he always requests, no matter where he plays and here. And so this year we called it the Houston Person Dance Party. And indeed it was. So artists don't think, young people don't think that playing for dancing is any kind of a come down. It's the history of our art form.